Hello there, my friends, and welcome back to the Fall Stitch Along with Joann's and Yarnspirations. I'm Marley Bird, and this is video 3 of a 4-part series for the Bernat Texture and Stripes Knit Cocoon cardigan. By this point, you should have completed your homework for both weeks 1 and 2, which gives you a very long panel that will be the upper part of your back, and it will actually fold over the front to be the front part of your cardigan. In this video, we will learn how to pick up and knit stitches along the row edge of that panel, and we will learn a brand new mosaic stitch pattern. The great news is with this stitch pattern, it's very similar to the other stitch patterns in that we will slip stitches as if to purl with yarn in back or yarn in front, which means you get to sit back and just follow along with the pattern and use all the skills you have already learned thus far through the instructions. Speaking of the instructions, you will find a link to the instructions for this part of the pattern in the video description box right down there below. Go ahead, grab the instructions, grab your homework, grab all of your materials, and we will jump in with part 3. As you already know, for week 1, we did the mosaic check pattern. For week 2, we did the mosaic step pattern, and in week 3, we're doing the mosaic houndstooth pattern. Now you will notice right here in this chart that we will be slipping stitches every single row, just like we did in the mosaic step pattern. We will also be changing colors every 2 rows, just like we've been doing throughout the whole piece. We are also going to maintain some garter stitches and some stockinette stitches. So just like the other one had a combination of the 2 stitch patterns, we will be doing that with this mosaic stitch pattern. This stitch pattern is worked up using colors A and color B. So we will not be using the main color for this part of the pattern. Go ahead and grab your finished panel, get some stitch markers, and grab the longer of your 2 pair of needles, and let's go ahead and learn to pick up some stitches. For this 3rd panel, we will be working stitches along the row edge of the completed panel that you did for weeks 1 and week 2. You want to have your panel sitting in front of you with week 1 towards the right and week 2 towards the left. And down here at the bottom, we want to measure from the outside corners in towards the center, and the distance you will measure is written in the pattern. It all depends on what size you're making. And what we're essentially doing is we are sectioning out a middle portion of this piece so that way we can add stitches right here and make a panel that's going to work down from this part of our work. So obviously this little swatch is smaller than what your actual cardigan is in front of you. So I just guesstimated a point in my little swatch here so that way we can learn how to pick up stitches. And the number of stitches you will pick up is written in your pattern because the stitch multiple of what we're getting ready to do is a multiple of 6 plus 2. Okay, 6 plus 2. Once you have those 2 markers in place, we will then pick up and knit stitches all along this edge. Now I'm going to tell you that I like to add just 1 more marker, and I'm adding it to the midway point right here. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's pretend that we need to pick up a total of 14 stitches, okay? If I want to pick up 14 stitches between this marker and this marker, I want to make sure that I'm picking them up as evenly as possible. So if I separate this whole section here and divide it into 2, I can then take 14 and divide it by 2 and know that I need to pick up 7 stitches over here and 7 stitches over here. Now, you are obviously dealing with larger numbers than 14, but dividing up this section of your panel into mini sections that you can then pick up just a set number of stitches, that will help you evenly space out the stitches for this part of your project. Now I will be picking up 14 stitches here. I'm going to pick up 7 stitches starting right here to the middle part and then 7 stitches from here to here. And I will do that with my color A. Is it my color A? It is my color A. The instructions tell us with the right side facing and our longer needle and our color A, we want to pick up and knit the stitches between our marker. Now, I will tell you that I find it easier to turn this and pick up stitches working along the panel 2 first and then going back. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm right here along the panel and I'm just going to pierce my yarn right through the edge over here. And I will take my color A and I will wrap my color A around my needle and then pull that through that stitch. So that's 1. Remember, I want to get 7 here. So that's 1. Let's just come down a little bit and I'm going to come right into here, pierce through the yarn. There's 2. Let's come over here. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay? So I have 7 stitches. That's what I wanted, right? So here's what I do. I will take the marker out that's dividing my sections up for my picking up stitches, and I will put that marker on my needle now. That way, as I go to pick up the next 7 stitches, if for some reason I pick up too few or too many, I can always just pull those out back to my marker, and I'm never messing with these 7 over here. They're all just kind of staying the same. So now I come over here and let's pick up our 7 over here. There's 1 and let's go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Perfect. All right. So I have my total stitches picked up that I need for my little swatch here. And I will go ahead, turn my work, do not join. We're going to work back and forth. So we're going to turn our work and we're going to work row 1 of the transition row, which is just purling. So I have the wrong side facing me. And I know it's the wrong side, right? Because I'm looking at the wrong side here as well. So I'm going to purl all of these stitches. And when I get to the center one where my marker is, I can just remove that marker. So as I come up to where my marker is that was used just to separate the sections, I can just remove it. I don't need it anymore. It has served its purpose. So I will come across here to finish my row 1 transition row, and then I will continue on with the houndstooth pattern. So when I turn my work here, we're now going to introduce color B to our work, but now we have set up our stitch pattern. And because I have 14 stitches and my stitch pattern is 6 plus 2, remember? So that gives me 2 full stitch patterns plus my 1 on each end. All right, so we're going to introduce our color B. Let me do some yarn management here so I can keep the colors situated. So I have my color B, I'm going to bring it down here, and I begin with row 1 of the houndstooth pattern. Let's jump in. Row 1 begins with a knit 1, and then this is our repeat. Slip 1 with yarn and back, knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip 1 with yarn and back, knit 5. 3, 4, 5. You do that all the way until you get to the last stitch and you will knit 1. Turn your work. And on this row, we are going to knit our pinks. So our pink is going to be in garter stitch for this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip 1 with yarn in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip 1 with yarn in front and knit 1. Turn our work. We transition to color A. So I do some yarn management here. I'm just switching the balls so that way they don't get all tangled up over here. It just makes it a little bit easier. And we continue on. So this is row 3. With color A, I will knit 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. slip one purlwise with yarn and back. This is my repeat. Knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip one purlwise with yarn and back. You do that all the way to the end, then you will finish with a knit 1. Turn my work. My color A is in stockinette stitch, so we will be purling all of my color A here. So I purl 1, slip 1 with yarn in front, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip 1 with yarn in front, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're to the end of our row, so we will purl our last stitch. Turn our work. Switch colors. Little yarn hopscotch over here. And we are to our color B. Knit 1. And this is our repeat. We're going to slip 3 purlwise with yarn in back. So slip 1, slip 2, slip 3. Be very careful not to pull that float too tight, otherwise your work will pucker. Now we will knit 1, and we will slip 1 with yarn in back, and then knit 1. All right, so this is our repeat. Slip 1, slip 2, slip 3, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1. Okay, you do that to the end of the row and you finish with a knit 1. Turn your work. Remember, our color B is in garter stitch, so we will be knitting all of the pinks. So I will knit 2, slip 1 purlwise with yarn in back, knit 1, slip 3 purlwise with yarn in back, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip 3 purlwise with, I'm sorry, I said yarn in back, I mean yarn in front, and knit 1. Turn your work. See how this is going so far? Pretty fun. I like this. It's just, I've used this stitch pattern a couple times on some of my own patterns, and I just think it's fun. I used it on a wine bottle cozy, and I was like, this is the most adorable thing ever. Okay, so we're back to our color A. We will knit 4, knit 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is row 7, by the way, for those of you who are wondering. We will slip 1 with yarn in back, and then knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You do that until you get to the last 4 stitches. You will slip 1 with yarn in back and knit 3. Turn your work. Remember that we're keeping our color A in stockinette, which means we will be purling all of the yellow here. So I will purl all of my yellow stitches. So purl 3, slip 1 with yarn in front, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip 1 with yarn in front, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Turn our work. We're now on the 9th row, and we switch colors again, so I'm back to my color B. And just a side note, as you're working this stitch pattern, you would continue working this until it's the distance you want it to be, and you will end after working a color B on the wrong side. So you will have finished a color B when you end, okay? So on this next row here, we will start off with a knit 3. So knit 1, knit 2, knit 3, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip 1 with yarn in back. So we're to the last 5 stitches, and then we get to knit 4. So you would repeat the slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 5 until you get to the last 5 stitches. And then you would slip one with yarn and back and then knit 4. Turn your work. Let me get my little yarn going on here. Remember the pink, we want to keep that in garter stitch, so we will keep those as knits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip one with yarn in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip one with yarn in front. 1, 2, and 3. It's pretty easy. On the wrong side rows, you just want to make sure whatever color is on your needle that is the same as the yarn color you're using, just make sure you're working those stitches. The other color, you just want to make sure that you are slipping that one. Okay, I want to work row 11 and 12 here so we can get the full look of this houndstooth. So I am with color A on row 11. I will knit 4, 2, 3, and 4. Now I will slip 3 purlwise with yarn in back. So slip 1, 2, 3 with the yarn in back. Then I knit 1, and I knit 2, and I knit 3. You will do that, okay, what I just did right there. You do that to the last 4 stitches. You will slip 1 purlwise with yarn in back. Nope. You will do what I just, okay. You repeat that. You repeat that, slip 3 purlwise with yarn in back, knit 3 all the way down to the last 4 stitches. Then you finish with slip 3 purlwise with yarn in back and knit the last stitch. Okay? We turn our work. Remember, we're keeping our color A in stockinette. So anything that's on my needles right now that is the same color as my color A, I'm going to purl it. So I will purl that, slip 1, 2, 3 with yarn in front, and then purl, slip 1, 2, 3 with yarn in front, and then purl all the way to the end. And with that, I will turn my work and let's take a peek at this houndstooth. You can see right here, this is the full stitch pattern repeat. That's rows 1 through 12. And if you remember, the pattern says that you would repeat rows 1 through 12 until it reaches a certain distance, right? This panel here has to reach a certain distance for whatever size you are making. But you want to end on a wrong side after a row B, which means I have to work 2 more rows with color B, correct? So you either end on a row 2 or a row 6 or a row 10 for this pattern to work up, okay? Because we want to end after a wrong side row with color B. So I have to work rows 1 and 2 with my color B. So I will start off with a row 1, the right side facing me. So I will knit 1, slip 1 purlwise with yarn in back, and knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slip 1 purlwise with yarn in back and knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then knit 1. Okay, turn my work, and it's on this row that I will finish off my work. So I am keeping my pink stitches in garter stitch. So I knit 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip 1 with yarn in front. Knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip 1 with yarn in front and finish with my knit 1. Okay, so I ended on a wrong side row with my color B. It's at this point I can go ahead and cut my color B. All right, so I'm going to cut my color B. Again, I left a little bit of a tail. I will turn my work, and with my color A, I'm going to do 2 rows in stockinette stitch. So very similar to how we did the finishing after panel 2, we're going to finish with some stockinette stitch here. So I will knit all of these stitches on the right side. So let me get across all of these with knits. No slip stitches, just knitting. And then I will purl all of these stitches. As I purl this last stitch, you might think to yourself, okay, now it's time to bind off. That's what I did after panel 2, correct? Well, we will not be binding off at this point, okay? Here's the deal. This part of the panel you just created is going to be the bottom hem of your cardigan. So rather than binding these off just to go back and pick up stitches again to add a ribbing, we're going to put these on a holder. And when it comes to putting these on a holder, you can either put them on some scrap yarn, you could put them on a spare needle, whether it's the same size needle or a different size needle, whatever it is, you just want to keep these on a holder. And then you're just going to let it rest here until the next set of instructions are released. And it's at that point we will begin the actual assembly of our cardigan, and we'll add all of the extra ribbing that will turn it into something really special. Isn't it great that we learned the awesome technique of mosaic stitches in the very first video, and we've been able to use it in each video since then, but we're getting a truly unique look each time. I love using mosaic stitches for that very reason. Okay, let's go ahead, finish this panel of your cardigan, and then set it aside either on scrap yarn or on a spare set of needles, and then join me in the next video where we will tackle the actual assembly of this piece. Don't forget to take pictures as you're working along and share with us on social media. We love to see your work. All right, everybody, this is the Fall Joann Stitch Along with Your Inspirations. I'm Marley Bird, and I'll see you again real soon.